Hi everyone, and welcome to Stamper's Niche. My name is Lillian. I'm coming to you from Alberta, Canada, and I love to help you unlock all kinds of paper crafting ideas. So thank you for joining me at this different time today. Usually I have a Facebook Live and then I transfer it to YouTube about 7 o'clock on a Monday night. But today it is Monday morning at 11 o'clock, April 17th. And just going to have some fun together. So I have a question for you before we go down to our desk. And just before I ask that question, it's springtime here. And springtime in Alberta means that the snow is pretty much gone. Everything looks pretty brown and everybody's anxious to be outside. The temperatures have been nice, the sun is shining, and has been a fabulous few days. So we can't wait for it to turn green, but you can see everybody out in the yard, neighbors visiting. Love that kind of thing. So question for you today, and I've forgotten what my question was. I better look at it. Oh, I know. If you had to choose one word to describe your crafting space right now, what word would it be? 2 days ago, it would have been a disastrous mess for me. But right now, I think the word would be transition. I am transitioning my ink colors so that the current ones are where I'm going to reach them first. And I just love my storage unit from Stampin' Up. I've been transitioning my stamps and all different kinds of things, and I'm gradually making some sense of it all. So that's making me happy. So what is one word that describes your crafting space right now? And I'm just going to take us down to my desk as you're entering that. And if you don't want to say one word that describes your crafting space, at least say hi and let us know you're there. Chilly. Ooh, how come it's chilly, Linda? Have you got the window open or is your heat off? Let us know what's happening there. And you've got us curious. That much I can tell you. All right. So, somebody else said a disaster. They're going by too fast here, but I think we all have times when our room is a disaster. I know that I definitely do. In fact, even after I clean it up, it seems to change rather rapidly as soon as I start to do anything. But I'm going to give it a whirl here. Just switching onto the computer. That's why I sound like I'm not really paying attention. Oh, you have a chilly basement. Yes, ours is chilly too. In fact, I actually have my studio. I moved it upstairs when the kids moved out just because of that. And then when I have classes, it's in the basement and I have a heater down there. So it takes the chill off of it. But it's good to cozy up, have a nice warm drink, and we're good to go. So I want to talk to you about a few things just before we get started. First off, there are some beautiful new in colors being offered. So these are them right here. Some people have said, oh, I'm not so sure, but you walk into a store, a clothing store, a home decor, weddings, these colors are really featured like you wouldn't believe. And they play so well with so many other colors that I actually am really enjoying them. I was at a demonstrator event on Saturday and we got to make cards with these colors and I fell in love with them even more. So if you want to join an in-color club, so that's where you would get all kinds of things in, say, this one or this one each month and gradually build up your in colors over 5 months. And then maybe click on this link, go there and join, because by the end of April, I'm going to be cutting it off and then I'll send out the invoices. You don't need to pay right now, but I will send out the invoices and we will start with one color for the month. So just in case you need to know the words, I've got this here as well. So there's Copper Clay, Wild Wheat. Oh, I saw this with Pretty Peacock on Saturday. It is gorgeous. Pebbled Path, Moody Mauve, and Boho Blue. So Gorgeous colors. Now, when you print them out, they're never as nice as in real life, but I really, really do love them. So there's that. Then I have another club because Stampin' Up! Is doing the color refresh, and they have some colors that they're adding. They took some colors out of the different color families, the core color families, and have added some new ones, which are just, it just makes it so refreshing. I was hoping they would be here today so I could share them with you, but they're not here yet. So I'm offering a second club. So it's the core color club. So again, you can build up your missing colors, the ones that are just being added, over 5 months, and you'd get 2 colors a month. And you can join both clubs if you want. So just be aware, and I will put those, I'm posting those links again this afternoon. You can take a screenshot, whatever, but you do need to register for those sooner rather than later, because I will be ordering right away at the beginning of May when we can order all these things. So that being said, one more thing before we get started. I have a Use Your Stash class. This one is slimline cards. Now, about once every, I don't know, 6 weeks, 2 months or so, I release a Use Your Stash class. So this is where you're going to use whatever you have. So I will show a card, how to make it, and then I will show it using totally different product and talk to you about how you can use what you have to create the same card layout and style of card. And all of these will be slimline cards. So it's actually been a really popular class. So if that's something you're interested in, what you get is the handout with all the measurements and pictures, pardon me, and then you get links to the video tutorials. So it's an online class you can do at home or at the cottage or wherever, but there's the link right there for that. So let's get started today. Oops, one more thing before we get started. Last week's card, which was a huge hit, all of you left comments, and Kelly, your name was drawn. So Kelly, this will be coming in the mail to you. So there we go. We have got that much done. Now, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I made a stencil using the conversation bubbles, and I showed you how that you can make stencils with your dies and create an interesting background. So that's just to jog your memory a little bit. And now just to expand your thinking a little bit more, you can use like this from the basic borders dies, and this, and of course this could be clouds or whatever, and you can layer that up. This here, these are dies from the Enjoy the Journey suite, and so what I did was when I cut this out, this one is actually masking paper, which is really nice because it's nice and thin. And then I created these shadows, or the bicycle riders in the background. So you can do that kind of thing. You can see I also made clouds on another card and a runner on another card. I had some fun with those. Still on the stencil kick, I took my framed florets dies, and I used this one right here to cut out an oval, and then with a bit of Tahitian Tide, and then a little bit of Night of Navy. You could also have added some Highland Heather here as well. So those are all different colors that I used there. And then what you can do is, leaving your stencil on, you could bring in a stamp and stamp over it, which is what I did here. And sorry, there seems to be a glitch here. So then I stamped, removed my stencil, and then added the birds. So I got that effect right there. You can also use this and remove it, and then you could bring in a die cut or something like that. So you can see you can do all kinds of things with stencils that you can make with your dies. But today I am going to talk about the stencils that Stampin' Up! Sells. So sometimes we kind of don't even notice them. So this one here is in the mini catalog. It's called The Loveliest Layers Decorative Masks. Sometimes they're called stencils, sometimes masks. So there's one big stencil here, which is what we're going to be using today. And in this one here, there are some little ones that you can layer up. So for example, let me just grab some white paper here. This one here is like that. So you could bring it in, bring your blending brushes and add your color. Then you could add this over top like that and go for a darker color. And what you would end up with is this, just like that. So what your stencils are doing is exactly the same as your negatives from your dies, is they're giving you an outline that you can add color with. Well, I wanted to show you this one right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that out of the way first off, bring in a blending brush, and I think I'll bring in the brown just because that's the color we're going to use on our card, even though this is just to show it to you. So I'm going to bring in just the same color, the gray granite, like that. And I'm going to pick up the color so you can see it's like that. So pick up some color, and I always start off, or you can even start on here if you want, and you just start to swirl. And again, depends how much ink you have, how much pressure you have, and you start to get a design. Now I'm just going to peek here because it's, you see, you start out to get something like that. And then how do you clean this? Well, you can use a baby wipe or something like that, or just run it under the tap, which is what I tend to do. So I wanted to show you this stencil to make a background on a card that looks something like this. So it almost would give you a vintagey feel if you wanted, or it just adds some interest to the background. So let me show you how I did that. I'll put the card over here out of the way right now, and I'm going to bring in the pieces. I'm just going to move my stencil so I don't get ink everywhere, and close this up. I'll open it again in a minute. So I brought in a card base that is the usual 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So now we've got that ready to go. And I forgot to write these measurements down. They'll be in the handout in Thursday's newsletter. Then I've got a piece of gray granite. And then this piece here is 3 3/4 by 5. So this is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And they're going to eventually layer like that and then go on the card. All right, but we're going to do everything on this layer here. So let's use that stencil right off the bat. Some of you are having issues with the video. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening there. But apparently if you go out and come back in, it will work. Just never know, do you? We will take it as it comes. All right, so you can just put this down, especially if I was going to cover the whole sheet with the stencil, but I am not. So I'm going to hold my paper in place just by putting something here like that and like that. Thank you for all of you helping each other get back in. So yes, just hit refresh, or if you don't know what refresh is, go out and come back in and you will be fine. I think someone was trying to phone me, and I think it caused a glitch in the system, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Now, instead of these going up and down, I want to angle these. So I am going to go like that, and I'm going to hold it in place. Again, I could use this Post-it note and stick it down. And I only want to put some in the center area, and I want it to be fairly light. So I am going to swish over the holes here, just like this. Now I'm going to take a peek, because right now it doesn't look like anything's happening, but I think it is. Oh, it is. Do I want anything more? I think I want maybe a little bit more over here, and maybe a little bit more over here. Again, hold it in a place, taking a peek. There we go, just like that. Now we've got it fairly softly, except where I got a heavy hand there. So that was going this way. Now I'm going to rotate this and make it go the other direction. So you can layer your stencils. And the nice thing about your stencils, even though they are a color, you can still see through them. So I am going to aim it at an angle again. We'll see how this goes. My practice run went perfectly. There we go. And so now instead of, it's a little fuller design. And I am using not a lot of pressure because I want it to be backgroundish. And you know what? I think I am pretty happy with it, just like that. So we'll peel this off. And again, I would clean this by running it under the tap or using a baby wipe or something like that. So let's close this up for a minute, and we'll put this so I can clean it afterwards. And now we've got it like that. We can peel this off, and we've got that layer done. Just like that. Now, let's look at the card again. How did I build these flowers? I brought in the Dainty Delight dies. So I brought in this die right here, and this die right here, and I built the flower using them. So again, for those of you who aren't familiar, the Dainty Delight bundle is available in the mini catalog. Now the stamp set and the dies are available in the upcoming catalog, but they're not a bundle. So if you want to save 10%, you want to get it ordered now, that's for sure. It's a gorgeous set, and I think you will really, really like it. So there we go, just like that. I just dropped something. Let's pick it up. So I used those two, and they're going to overlap. So let's take a look-see. I have cut them out. Where are they? Here they are. So I've cut them out of designer paper. So I've got, so you can see the designer paper on the back. I've got these. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. Just put them down there. And then I've got the flower ones, and I've cut them. Now, could anybody guess what designer paper I used? That I've got some pinks, a bit of yellow in there, dark, light. It's the same paper that I got the stems from. So what I used was the designer paper called Hues of Happiness. So it's the one with all these flowers, but on the back it has these nice, I don't know, variegated, I call them splooshy colors. So here's where I got the flower tops from. So that's how I got the different variations there. And the stems I cut out of here. So don't forget that using your designer paper for die cuts is a fun thing to do. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my multi-purpose liquid glue. Am I in camera here? There, let's get that out of the way. I'm just going to put a few dots on those little spriggy things at the top. I just thought of something maybe that's supposed to go on top. No, it's supposed to go underneath, I think. At least I like it underneath. Does your mind ever do that? Come up with a different plan halfway through a project? I've taken more projects apart because of that very reason. And then you can just plop it on wherever you think it looks good. Use your fingers to bring out, to take off any extra glue. There we go. So now we have our 3 sprigs. Whoops. I think I want to change that just slightly. So we've got that. We're going to let them dry just a moment. And we're going to bring in a tag from the tailor-made tags. I use this all the time. We're bringing in this smallest tag here, right here, and we're going to stamp Celebrate You. So Celebrate You actually comes from the stamp set. There's some great words in that stamp set. We're going to stick with gray granite. Like, why switch it up? It all goes together beautifully. So we're going to just stamp that and get that ready. There we go. So now all we need to do is assemble our card. So first off, we are going to arrange the flowers. So I like to sometimes do that right on my silicone mat to begin with, just to get an idea of where I'm heading. Okay, that's going to work. So we'll flip these over. Helps if you take the lid off, right? And again, these are such nice light papers that you don't need a lot of glue. And remember, this is going to help hold some of it down too. So the stems you don't really need to worry too much about. There we go. And one more. So this will put, about like that. And this one, I think we'll do this one next. About like that. Now we could have put these on dimensionals too, and then just fastened the stems on. There, we'll move this out of the way as it's rather sticky. And it's time to put this on. What I'm going to do with this, I'm going to add the bow afterwards. I just find it easier. I'm actually going to put a glue dot or 2 here, and then I'm going to put dimensionals here so that it's going to be rather raised up. So before I do that, I'm going to fasten this to the gray granite piece. It's just easier to do when it's not too lumpy. If you forget, which I often do, it's not a big deal, but it's just easier. Then we'll bring in this. I'm going to put a glue dot actually on either side of that hole. And bring in a dimensional for here. And let's see, where will we put this? Remember, we have a bit more space, so we can go off the edge. There, just like that. And we're going to bring in our twine. Oh, there, I grabbed the wrong end. I think, Karen, it was you that was asking how to not have it all come off in a glump. And usually I do pretty well, but not today. Now, do you see how curly this is? I'm getting towards the end. If that makes it hard to work with, put it between your thumb and your bone folder and gently pull it, and it straightens it out quite a bit. you could do it again. And I mean, if you add more pressure, then you're going to make it curly. So it's up to you. I did a double one, so I'm making this double. Tying a bow. I want that. I want those ends. I'm being a little bit fussy here. I want those ends longer. So I'm going to do it again. There we go. Now I'm just going to hold the center and adjust my bow loops till I like them. Just play with it a little bit and bring in my scissors. Just like that. We have it. Now again, if I wanted to, and I often do this, I hold that center so it doesn't come undone, and okay, give them a bit of a curl. Sometimes it gives me a little bit more control for them to be going the way I want them to. And I want this guy to go backwards so he's not in front of the words. There we go. Like that. I can tell my fingers are getting stickier and stickier. And we'll put it on a glue dot. Just like that. We'll add embellishments once we get it on the card. Let's put it on dimensionals just to add a little bit more interest. Bring our card in. There we go. And now for embellishments, I really, really love these, and they're retiring. The 2021 to 23 in color opal rounds, and I have just a few left, but I think we're going to be okay here. Here's my Take Your Pick tool. I was so excited in the new catalog. There's a new attachment for the Take Your Pick tool. So make sure you check out the tools when you're in checking out the new catalog. And then just like that, we have this card. So I hope that gives you an idea about using your stencils. Now this one here, that's just reminding me what I used. I did this here so that when I stamp on it, it's also going to be in the background here. And if you're not sure about using your stencils, if you're not feeling very brave, do it on scrap paper first. And my advice would be to use a light touch first and then add it as you want. All right. So just a fun, I just really think this would have been a nice sympathy card, an anniversary card. It would be for almost any occasion. Now, I did say that I was at a demonstrator event on Saturday, and demonstrator events, we swap cards. So I have some swap cards I would like to share with you. So here we have this one right here. I received this from Laura Roberts, and this has the little angle here, holding it closed. So you just, it's tucked like that, so it opens. So that is, whoops, that is one fun card. Here is another one, and I forgot to look up this die. Who can tell us the name of this die? It is, it's either in the mini catalog or online exclusives. I think it's in the mini catalog. It's something about Around the Bend, is it? Or something like that. Can anyone tell us the name of that die? That's just such a pretty card. And then there's the Sweet Citrus card. Oh, this one's from Carolyn Williamson. This one is from Karen Duke. So I love these, and I love this color combo. This is from a Karen. Oh, her last name starts with an E. I can't think of it, and she didn't write it in. So I love how she's got these bursts coming out, and then those crazy ducks. They're so cute. And this is from one of the Rhondas, and again, I've forgotten her last name, using the sending. So she had made it very early in the morning, but I love the twine tucked underneath and everything like that. So another pretty card. And then this one is from Pam McLean, and she used at least two things from the online exclusives. She used the leaves from there, and these are the radiating dies. So they're dies that have these little lines, and so you can see again here like that. Oh, thank you, Karen. Around the bend in the mini. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much. So those are some of the swaps I received. So I hope you enjoyed that. And speaking of things to remember, last chance products. It's up to 60% off. And this stuff is really selling out, actually, and it is going to finish May 1st. So take a look at that, see if there's something you want, and also do remember to look at the bundles that are in the mini and annual catalog. Even though items might be carrying forward, they won't be carrying forward as a bundle. So that's always an important thing to remember. So thank you so much for joining me at this little bit earlier time. I hope you enjoyed this card. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button or that little bell. That little bell lets you know when I am posting a new video. And if you're watching the replay, please leave a comment. Let me know you've been here. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your spring day. Take care. Bye-bye.